Well, good morning, everyone. Hi, it's Leanne Boyd from Fearlessly Free Women with this week's edition of Cuppa Courage Tips. Sorry, I'm late. My phone battery was flat and I didn't want to conk out in the middle of this video. So here we go, better late than never. So this week we're going to talk about learned helplessness and what that is, what to do about it, and where it may have come from in your life. And hopefully you'll be able to perhaps even recognize traits within yourself that you can put that learned helplessness label's really a bad word, but you recognize this within yourself. If you like, you may wonder why you've been doing things that you do, and now after this talk perhaps you will recognize things. So what is it? Okay, so learned helplessness is a state that occurs after you have experienced a stressful situation repeatedly. You may come to believe you are unable to cope or control or change any situation that you may be in. So you simply don't try. Even when opportunities present themselves will allow you to change that situation. When positive situations become available, you just either choose to turn a blind eye because you believe that, okay, well, I can't change it anyway. This is my life. And that's just simply not true. You have learned how to become helpless and hopeless. Your nervous system has become geared towards that way. It's become geared to slip into that groove, if you like, of helplessness. Okay, so helplessness occurs when you repeatedly face situations where you feel like you can't help yourself. So you've had experiences in the past that have led up to that, and now you may be repeatedly facing those type of situations that you feel are beyond your control. And even when things, as I said, when situations become available, when opportunities become available to you, you still don't take action on it to change the way you are living or the situations you're experiencing. Okay, so you have learned to be helpless. Okay, so having this experience that that you can't control in the events around you, having that repeated feeling of helplessness causes you to lose motivation. You just start to think, well, what's the point anyway? That's not going to change, or I can't change that. This is just the way it is. You just can't find the motivation to take action to change. You are less able to make positive decisions from this state. It seems impossible for you. So this also will, or may, all of the above, increase your risk of depression. It's very easy to slip into depression when you're feeling that you're helpless or hopeless. So, and it's very easy in this current state of the world too, with the pandemic. It has the whole world topsy-turvy. No one knows what they're doing from one day to the next, whether they're going into lockdown or there's an amount of fear that's out there, and it's fueled by the media. Even when you go on social media, you could be hit in the face with conspiracy theories and so on. So, all of these broadcasted uncertainties feel like help you to feel helpless and powerless and even hopeless. Even with the vaccinations, one minute you're doing this and the next minute you're doing that. You can't take this under 50, and then all of a sudden it changes to 60. So there's so many things flying around us at the moment that make us feel a little bit hopeless in the situation. So when you have all of that you're facing in the world, even job insecurity and so forth, and your business might be really severely affected with the COVID. So compound this with a sense of helplessness that's been building up over time, and it's been induced from maybe even a lifetime of learned helplessness, and you probably feel like you've lost hope all the time, even from time to time. But I'm here to tell you that there is hope. there is hope. In the past, you may have been told that when you feel like this, you may have been told that you've just, overreacting, or you're just irrational. You may even feel then overwhelmed by your helplessness. Perhaps you've even been told that the situation's your fault. And then you get this enormous, tremendous sense of guilt, which just adds to your helplessness and hopelessness feeling. So I want you to know now that all of that is not true. And if someone's been really quite adamant that you are helpless and hopeless, then they're probably been gaslighting you, which is a horrible situation to be in. And it sticks when someone even calls you that. I remember way back when I was a tiny girl, little girl, about 5-6 years of age. I remember my sister telling me I was hopeless, and that stuck for decades until I got to about 30 and realized, well, that was wrong. I'm not hopeless. In fact, I'm very, very capable. So you may, in that situation, like I did, I accepted that bad thing. I accepted that bad thing. I am hopeless, and that's it. And you accept things because you're already down. You already feel like you don't have control. You already feel like you're unsuccessful in resolving issues, even when there's a potential a solution to your issues. So I just want to blah, blah, blah. I got my words all jumbled up. Sorry about that. So some characteristics of helplessness you may recognize in others or in yourself is low self-esteem, low motivation, low expectations of success, less persistence when things go wrong and just being accepting of how the situation is, not asking for help. That's a biggie, because a lot of us don't like asking for help. So we'd rather sit in that state rather than ask for help. And you may think that if you try to do things that you're not going to be successful anyway due to your lack of ability, because after all, as you keep telling yourself, you're hopeless and helpless. So, and you may even put things down that do happen to you in the positive. You may just put them down to luck, where in fact that's not the case. You have actually created that situation to happen. You've managed to step out of that comfort zone, if you like, of where you've been sitting in hopelessness and helplessness, and actually do something for yourself, and then you just put it down to luck when it's not. It's actually you that's created it. So I'm just going to give you some examples here of situations of helplessness. Is when someone may continue to smoke, and even though they've had several attempts to quit, it hasn't worked. So they're always going to believe that they're a smoker for always. I just can't quit it. I can't do it. Okay. Even with weight loss, you may have had various lifestyle or diet changes and nothing's moved or shifted. So you just resign to yourself that this is how it's going to be, and you just give up. Okay. Another one is if a person's been in a situation where they've been physically or emotionally abused, and you just have that feeling that you just cannot escape. And even when there's help and support out there, you just don't make the move to move yourself out of that situation. You're really stuck in feeling hopeless. So, you may have felt weak even as a woman compared to a man. This is learned helplessness. It's in our DNA as a woman. We've come from centuries and generations of suppression. So this is a part of us. So it's hard for a woman sometimes to accept that they're as capable as men. With the science of epigenetics, they've done so much research. There's epigenetic institutions all over the world, because they've found that our environmental influences can actually influence our gene expression. So our changes in gene expression not resulting directly from DNA mutations and DNA sequence mutations, they can result from experiences of trauma. Then that leads to the formation of inherited traits, both intra-generationally and intergenerationally. So our DNA is affected by our experiences. So as I mentioned, as a woman, we've had generations of suppression, and it still goes on everywhere in the world today, in some form. So women, it takes a lot for women to step out of that situation. So here's just some tips on how to overcome helplessness, what to do. So take all the support and encouragement you can, okay? Just accept it. Throw the I don't want to ask for help out the window. Just accept support and encouragement when it's there. You know, maybe just look back and explore the origins of that feeling of helplessness. Apart from the inherited epigenetic side of it, when was the first time you felt helpless or hopeless? Go back and explore that and see the reasons why. You know, develop ways to decrease this feeling of helplessness. One of the best ways is to go out and do things, you know, to teach your nervous system that you can do things and do things quite well and quite successfully. And I'll touch on that in a moment, on things you can do. So identify negative thoughts when they come into your head. That's another way. You know, when you find your head chatter is too much and you feel it, you know, all these negative thoughts start racing in, when you start analysing and you become, you know, have paralysis from analysis, so to speak, because you've got all these things going around in your head, that also contributes to your helplessness. So identify behaviours that also within yourself that reinforce that sense of helplessness. So now, to counteract that, let's get out there and do things. You know, go out when you start to feel that way. Go out and do things that bring you satisfaction and joy. Get rid of that numbness that you feel when you feel hopeless and helpless. So go out and do some gardening. Getting some earth on your hands always makes you feel better. It gets you back to, you know, that earthy basic feeling. So take your dog for a walk. Just go for a walk with friends, or take some food to someone that you care about. Pour all that love into the food, and then take it to someone that's going to really appreciate it and get the benefit of that. So your goal is not to take on the worries of the world, okay? You can't stabilize what's happening out there in the world. It's all beyond your control. But what you need to focus on is stabilizing your world and gain stability in your own space in the world. So do important things that involve your family and your community. Do important things with the ones that really need you. Okay, so nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something, okay, to get themselves out of that hopelessness and helplessness. You know, something isn't just doing nothing. So just get out there and do something that makes you feel good, and that you can see some benefit for yourself and for someone else. If you're doing that, there's no way you can feel hopeless or helpless when you're out there doing something that benefits yourself and somewhere else. So keep doing that. Keep doing those things, and eventually it trains your mind and your body to remind yourself that you are not helpless and hopeless. Okay? So just get out there and do the do, and you'll be good. Do things that bring you joy and satisfaction. So, if all of that fails, the burning question is, as a woman, how do you free yourself from emotional stress and feeling insecure and worthless? Up there with hopeless and helpless. How do you get past that? What if I said to you there was a quick and easy way to gain emotional freedom of this debilitating feeling of helplessness and hopelessness? Well, there is. And it's what I do on a weekly basis, sometimes daily, depending on the women that come to me, choose to come to me, weekly basis, to set them free of all these feelings that they've been harboring and holding on to for most of their life. And sometimes these feelings aren't even there. Sometimes, as I mentioned with the science of epigenetics, they've been brought forward. Maybe their mother or their grandmother or their great-grandmother had these feelings of helplessness and hopelessness and lack of worth and insecurity, and they've had trauma that's come through your DNA to you. Okay, so that process that I do is called Creatrix. Okay, so Creatrix has been specially developed as an intervention tool for women, and it's been specifically designed for the female mind and how we think. And what it does is it helps you break free of this endless pattern of self-doubt and self-sabotage and limiting beliefs that are afflicting you and also the people around you and in your world that you touch. Okay, Creatrix will change your perception and perspective and the way you look at the world around you. You will start to see things in a different light. You will start to see the positive side of things rather than the negative. You will view life in a more open-minded, opportunistic, optimistic, and even a compassionate way. So once you've achieved this, you can start rebuilding your life in the way that you want to. You can start from an absolute clean slate of positivity, and you will be absolutely unburdened of fear, emotional baggage, all of the things that keep you stuck, holding you back in your life from the life that you want and from the life that you might choose in a business, in a successful way, as a leader. People will stop seeing you as a negative Nelly and see you as this woman who's ready to step out and take on the world with no fear and is willing to step out of their comfort zone and do whatever it takes. Okay, so once you've got rid of all that heavy baggage, you can start developing further necessary skills that will set you free and take you on a path to emotional wellness, physical wellness, and put you exactly where you want to be in the world. Okay, there's no holding back. Once you've had Creatrix, it frees you of all of that. So, you can go out and you can do self-help courses, or you can read self-help books, and you can do workshops and groups where you can join all of those things. But all of those things are great on the surface. I even do them myself. I do workshops and I have courses and so forth. But to get absolute 100% long-lasting change, you need to get right down into the core level of your subconscious mind and make the change there. Right down into your woman's intuition, your gut feeling. You already know how you want to live, but you lose it and you forget because of all the negativity that's been piled on top of it. So what we do with Creatrix is we get right down into the deep core level and bring all those beautiful learnings and knowings that you have, your higher intelligence, if you like. We bring that to the front, and that's the way you will think, feel, act, and do from then on. So we get down to the very core and essence of who you are and release it. So we release all your negative talk. We help you relearn, or I help you relearn how to live without it, without all that negative baggage. We even recode your genetic conditioning with Creatrix as we delve into your subconscious mind. Okay, you can change your DNA and your genetic conditioning with language. It's scientifically proven out there, and that's what we do with Creatrix. We reframe your world through those clear eyes that you now have, and then together we recreate your life. Okay, help you go out and do the things you want to do. So I hope that helps. Get rid of your helplessness and hopelessness, because with Creatrix, you'll have moments where you can achieve unbelievable freedom. And you'll start to see your world with clear vision, a clear heart, and clear mind. So until you make the decision to come to see me and have a little chat with me about Creatrix, get out there and do things that give you immense satisfaction, joy, and help others. And you can easily make the world a better place for you and for others. So that's it for me for this week. It's Leanne Boyd from Fearlessly Free Women, and I hope you've got a lot from this episode of Cuppa Courage Tips, and I'll see you next week for the next edition of Cuppa, I can't even speak today. Gosh, Cuppa Courage Tips, where I'm back in front of you again for another Facebook Live. Thanks very much and have a great week. Thank you very much. Bye.